Hello everybody, how are you? I hope this day you will happy and very interesting to following about my study today about color theory, session 14. Color theory with subthemas is color and shape exploration 2 with me Alida Kristinsari from Nusa Putra University. Watercolor technique you can try with on wet, on dry, wet brush or dry paper. This technique creates a natural color grading effect and makes it easier to adjust the consistency of gradation colors from solid to transparent. Number two is technique wet on wet. This is about brush and wet paper. Technique that use the paper and brushes to create watercolor design. To do this, dip brush in water, then wet it on the surface of the paper. Then use the brush that is still wet to take the watercolor paste. And the next, there is dry on dry. This is the meaning, brush, dry, and paper dry too. This technique uses watercolor paste and dry paper, so the watercolor paste is directly dependent dry onto the without need to dip in water. How about dry on wet? This is dry brush and wet paper. In contrast, the wet on dry technique, this method will create a smooth effect because the result is the color spreading effect on the edges of the point that has been applied to the wet paper. To do this, wet the paper, use brush dipped in water. Next, a flat wet. Flat wet is technique that does not cause a color gradation effect. On each sweep, it's the use trend to be more superficial, so the technique resulting color will be thicker than other techniques. As rule, using flatter large brush granules or create the effect of very thin color stroke. To do this, apply wet brush into the watercolor paste. Very good. Or color combination. Finally, this technique uses a combination of two colors, such as a yellow and red. And to do this, apply the yellow color and the paper, then drag the color enter in the paste. Okay, this can you see when how to application dry brush, flat wash, or grease wash, wet on wet, or water on wet, or you can using salt, lifting, or layer over dry. How about types of paper watercolor? There are three types paper and medium for watercolor. First is raw, number two cold press, and number three hot press. Rock watercolor paper. Rock watercolor paper is described as totally looks like protruding. This type of paper has rock and wavy texture that will make the pen more deeply exposed. Hot presses watercolor paper. This is smoothest compared with raw type of water paper. This cold pressed watercolor paper. Cold pressed paper is not serrated of raw paper, but also more serrated than hot pressed paper. This, for example, artwork using watercolor. You can see how the technique application to the drawing, like wet on wet or dry on wet or wet on dry. You can combination. Okay, and we can see the video. Okay, this for the technique. The first you make a sketch, make sketch on what you will drawing, like building or house or maybe animal, or you can try to drawing like tree or flower, anything you can drawing with use with sketch. And then after make sketch, you can detailing. This is very important. You detailing the sketch. After detailing, you can use watercolor combination. Combination watercolor is used like brush and then need water, or you can use the palette for mix the color to combine what the color must you use to do. For this first step, you can use big brush. Okay. For the basic, you can use um, more transparency, more transparent, and then next more dark. You can combine with what this watercolor. Okay, this for detailing. How to drawing the building, or you can drawing the detail like animal, like vegetable maybe, or flower, or anything like electronic, or you see anything object you can try to drawing on watercolor paper. Okay, we can see now the specific drawing. Yeah, this is from building. From the building how to drawing, like you can use the technique with brushes small. Okay, you can use a small brushes or big brush. You can try the combination with more color like contrast color or dynamic color. You can try anything to have make the good quality of drawing with water paper. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you can trying to always drawing with watercolor and don't be give up, trust always and keep spirit. Thank you very much. See you.